Well, here we are folks, the final game of this entire compilation of Super Mario 3D All-Stars. Hey, what's up ladies and gentlemen, it is I am the one and only Mexi here, from the likes of the Mexi Toys videos once again. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back for some more of Let's Play of Super Mario 3D All-Stars for the Nintendo Switch. So, last time we have basically 100% through everything in terms of Super Mario Sunshine on this entire compilation, despite nothing usually worth it at the end, besides the forms that, you know, the postcard saying that have a relaxing vacation, but aside from that though, that's pretty much about it. So as a result though, yeah, we basically done the second 3D Mario game on this entire compilation. So today, for this video is the fact that we are now diving right into the third and the final game of this entire compilation of Super Mario 3D All-Stars. And because of this though, we're about to be able to revisiting back onto Super Mario Galaxy, but now with gorgeous 1080p with HD visuals and stuff like that. Despite it's still emulated for sure, so in this case though, we're about to get started. Oh no, what happened to the Miis? They're no longer there. So in this case though, the only options we do have are Mario, Yoshi, Toad, and Princess Peach. So I guess we should probably... Although, as far as I'm aware, we did select Toad from the likes of the Wii version of this playthrough, so I figure I was able to select Yoshi this time around, because, well, as far as I'm aware, unlike in Galaxy 2, that he doesn't show up in the entirety of the forms of Galaxy 1, sadly. But either way, though, so yeah, without further ado, let's get right into the forms of Super Mario Galaxy, but the forms of the Switch version of the game. So because of that, though, yeah, let's dive right in. Every 100 years, a comet appears in the skies above the Mushroom Kingdom. The comet was so large, one year it filled the skies and sent countless shooting stars raining down. The Toads brought the shooting stars to the castle, where they became a great power star. It should have been a very happy time for the citizens of the Mushroom Kingdom. That was the night of the Star Festival, held once every 100 years to celebrate the comet.
Dear Mario, I'll be waiting for you at the castle on the night of the Star Festival. There's something I'd like to give you. From Peach.
So yeah, once again, much like in Super Mario 64, that basically Peach sent us a letter to able to actually just to come and visit her on the entire castle. So yeah, here we are onto Super Mario Galaxy again, but this time on the Nintendo Switch, so that way that you're still able to actually experience the widescreen support just like in the original Wii version of the game. However, textures wise, and even especially noticeable on the actual number font, is actually a lot more crisper this time around though, unlike in the forms of the original version of the game. Sometimes it can be a little bit blurry sometimes, but anyway, look at all these citizens right here. And of course that the Mushroom Kingdom is under attack, just like always, so we have to be able to meet up with Princess Peach as fast as we can. So hopefully we won't be able to actually just become a little bit too late and stuff like that. So anyway, so let's go and just keep on doing some long jumps. I'm really glad that the long jump was usually a thing in this. Finally, you're awake. Let's play. So of course we ended up on this particular planet, so in this case though, we're gonna have to follow the actual, the Star Bunny, so that way we can able to actually just to play around with it. So as you can tell from the likes of the forms of the differences between the forms of the original Wii version of the game originally came out in 2007, and then because of that though, since we're going to be players on the Switch version, as you can tell, that the button icons is actually a little bit more slightly different than the likes of how it does in the original version of the game. Because of this though, is the fact that the control methods this time around though for this particular version of the game, although you're still able to actually just able to press the A button to jump, but also if you couldn't tell already that when that Star Bunny actually said to you earlier, that you can also now able to press the B button to jump as well. So at least that's a little bit different I suppose, because unlike the Wii version you can just simply press the B button to shoot something by utilizing with the actual star bits throughout, so... But you know, you get the idea. In fact, I'll talk about more differences about this in a second, because obviously, for the sake of time right now, we're about to be trying to find, you know, 3 of those Star Bunnies, 2 of them are the yellow variations, and the other one is like, white kind of, color variation. So because of that, if you found all 3 of them, then we can progress, and we can able to meet up with, their mama, which, if you're following for original version of this Let's Play on the Nintendo Wii, specifically back in 2019, well, usually we actually did done that redo Let's Play of that game, back in 2019. Because of that, though, you probably exactly know what's going to be up. So in this case, though, we'll do a backflip jump, so that way we can able to meet up with her a bit more quicker than usual, so... I've been watching you from here. This place is called the Gateway to the, yeah, you probably get the idea. My name is Rosalina. I watch over, yeah, her name was Rosalina. I do apologize for my, commentary gets a little bit muffled up at points, even after, like, well, let's just say, it's been about almost 2 months ago since I actually last touched this after finishing Super Mario Sunshine on this compilation. So at least I'm finally be back on this. So yeah, we now have the ability to spin, but also as you can see on the text, that in addition to trying to able to shake your Joy-Con controllers, or you can able to press the Y button as a dedicated button to able to do a spin attack. So yeah, it seems kind of interesting to say the least, especially noticeable about the fact that technically this wasn't the first time they able to do that kind of system, where they managed to able to actually map the spin attack as in its individual button. And look at that, the Wii Remote is being replaced by the right Joy-Con controller, because it's pretty obvious about the fact that, much like the forms of Super Mario Odyssey, that the game really encourages you to able to use the Joy-Con controllers, because obviously that since that this game is still heavily utilizes motion control sometimes, for certain level gimmicks and stuff like that, and even spin attack as well, but every now and then now is the fact that you do have two alternatives for the sake of the forms of trying to use the spin attack. One is the forms of a dedicated button, which is of course the Y button, and or you can able to spin the controller in order to do that. So at least that's a nice alternative for the sake of the forms of if you're not too comfortable with the forms of motion controls to begin with, well, good luck for you. Or to be more specifically, luckily for you, you can able to actually now utilize the button now. So, yeah, you probably get the idea about that. So, yeah, like I said before, it's been about 2 months ago since I actually last touched this entire compilation after finishing Super Mario Sunshine recently. Because as far as you probably already know, that recently that we finished up with the forms of, or should I say, Tiana and the rest of the others out there, that they've now finally managed to finish up with Mega Man Marathon number 2. That managed able to tackle through the handheld, Mega Man games, including the Game Gear installment, and in addition to the Bandai WonderSwan sequel to the forms of Mega Man and Bass, originally came out on the Super Nintendo, or Super Famicom if you lived in the forms of Japan, and on top of all that stuff though, Mega Man The Wily Wars for the Mega Drive or Genesis. So yeah, you get the gist of it though. So that's the Grand Star we have to save. So of course we need to turn off this particular horrifying device, so in this case though, or this particular machine, so we're going to switch everything off until we're able to rescue the first Grand Star. So because of that though, and well, usually relatively speaking, as far as whenever I manage to play this particular game, either on the Switch or the Wii version, well, as far as the actual gameplay structure wise, it pretty much plays out exactly like the original Wii version of the game, but it does have some slight differences, despite the fact that it does not actually improve upon the original version, because I was expecting that, well, as soon as we're able to actually head over to the Comet challenges and stuff like that, which I'm sure that most people already know what I'm gonna say, although I still found this game still fantastic even to this day, easily one of my favorite Mario games ever, along with Super Mario Galaxy 2. So as a result though, that I kinda wish they were able to actually fix some issues from the likes of the Wii version throughout. But apart from all that stuff though, I'm still very glad to able to play this game. But this time I can play on the go, and also there's an HD this time. So because of that though, I was very pleased to see how that's gonna be represented with, so anyway, so since we've managed to rescue the first Grand Star in the game, so this means that, of course, the Grand Star is going to be onto that particular beacon on that Commons Observatory hub world. So, yeah, if you're ever following through our Let's Play of the game back in 2019, you probably know what to expect, so... And I should probably point things out as well is the fact that today's day is of course the 2nd of September today, in this case in 2022 today. So naturally speaking is the fact that I believe we're now on to the autumn season right now. Well, I suppose that Tiana has forgotten to mention about that. So, Grand Star Rescue in Gateway Galaxy. So, nicely done. And we've got 54 star bits, and we immediately able to unlock the first galaxy in the game. So, yeah, that's that. The beacon is lit again. It shines weakly, maybe only as bright as a class 6 star, but at least the poor Lumos will survive now. Oh, thank you for saving the Grand Star. These star people are my family. They mean so much to me. Welcome to the Commons Observatory. It's my home, and also home to the Lumos. You see, we traveled the starry skies. We passed by this area once every 100 years, but we suddenly stopped in front of this planet. A strange force had lurched onto our ship, pulling away star bits and our power source, power stars. Our ship had lost power, so it entered a deep hibernation state in which it could not move. Those who took your special one picked up the power stars and discovered the power to cross the universe. Please, I have a request. This observatory needs star power to project images of the galaxies that are scattered across space. And there is a chance we can use our few remaining stars to look for other power stars. These round rooms are called domes. We observe galaxies from domes such as these. But the only one that is working now, powered by the star power you restored, this is this one, the terrace. Please go to the terrace and try to recover the power stars from the galaxies you can save from there. If we do that, we'll be able to restore the Commons Observatory's ability to fly like a starship. Then perhaps we can pursue the thieves who run off with the power stars. Sounds like a great idea. And of course we can able to save our game. I still kind of wish I can able to use my control stick so that I can able to actually just to select those menus ever since in Super Mario Galaxy 2. But unfortunately though, that doesn't seem the case. But here's some differences, however, though. Specifically, if we're entering this dome, basically, though, is the fact that if we come across into the Pole Star segment, as you can see, normally, if you're trying to able to actually access to the pointer cursor, if you ever play this on TV mode or tabletop mode, basically, though, you always have to press the R button in order to able to activate the cursor. Whilst in the forms of on handheld mode, you can just simply tap. So because of that, though, I'll explain more details about that in a moment. And as far as I realized something, that back symbol was actually a lot different. Unlike the forms of how it does it on the original version, because it was normally roughly about clockwise or something like that. Whilst in here, though, this time around, though, it goes like, well, kind of like a mirror, kind of, I don't know what you would call it. Anyway, so let's begin with Good Egg Galaxy, and to begin with, let's get into Dino Piranha. And of course, the massive difference is than the likes of the original version of this game, than the likes of the Switch version, is that, of course, there's no loading screens. So because of that, though, because it was on the Switch game card, so to be expected about the fact that the game loads much faster now, unlike the actual physical discs version from the likes of the original Wii version throughout the whole game. Well, technically, that wasn't the first time they did that either, because that was on the forms of the Wii U eShop version, technically does it first. That's normally if you're trying to, you know, download the game digitally on the Wii U, then that way there aren't any loading screens to be found, apart from the fact that, well, if you're trying to play the game as in physical disc form, for this game in particular on the Wii U, it can still count as loading screens. So because of that, though, as far as for this particular playthrough is concerned, well, specifically on Super Mario 3D All-Stars version of this game, we're still gonna have to go through two playthroughs of the game. One of them involves around Mario himself, and another one which is gonna be the second run through with Luigi. So because of that, though, yeah, you probably get the idea about that. Although this might actually be a spoiler warning for those who have not played the game yet, either on the Wii or the Switch version. So because of that, though, I do apologize for that. So anyway, yeah, not much else is going on for the sake of this discussion for this point today, apart from the fact that, yeah, you notice about the fact that ever since in yesterday, that recently that Fiona just managed to able to get started with another The Legend of Zelda Let's Play, but this time around though she's going to be playing Link's Awakening, specifically Link's Awakening DX for the Game Boy Color, because I think to me though that is by far the definitive way playing Link's Awakening, at least in my opinion anyway, because well, obviously some additional content that was not found in the forms of the original version of the game back on the Game Boy days. And on top of all that stuff though is the fact that, well, I just found the visuals look a lot more nicer on the color version of the game, so, but that's probably for my taste anyway, so. Anyway, so, and as far as you notice something also is the fact that another huge difference is between the forms of the original Wii version of Super Mario Galaxy is the fact that you probably notice about something that's usually entirely related to the actual pointer itself, that the ones you've seen right now. Normally, on the original Wii version of the game, depending on if you manage able to turn your Wii remote in any direction, the actual star cursor will decide to able to turn and stuff like that. Well, usually just manage to turn depending on what specific direction you try to turn your Wii remote and stuff like that, and that way it gets like an upside down shape star pointer, and anything else to that resides. Whilst in here though, it basically just acts out as like a very simple straight star shape, kind of like how it did in the forms of the emulator on the actual Dolphin emulator and stuff like that, so I guess that makes it pretty obvious. So, and as I mentioned this before, is the fact that in addition to when you're able to try to play this game as in your Joy-Con controllers, very similar to the Wii remote and a nunchuck, which I will have to be honest right away, I'm very glad that we're actually going to be going through separate two Joy-Cons as opposed to Wii remote and nunchuck, because well, every now and then now is the fact that certain Wii remotes, or specifically certain nunchucks actually though, is the fact that sometimes it always gets to get that very annoying pop-up where basically if your nunchuck might get destroyed and stuff like that. Basically though, you have to keep on like blowing the actual the cord of it, and then basically though is the fact that it should able to make the nunchuck work. Whilst on the forms of the Switch version this time around though, there's that, thank God there's no annoying notification saying about the fact that the controller's gone loose, so at least I appreciate about that, because that kind of ruins the experience for me a little bit, so, but I digress. So yeah, we meet again with Dino Corona after the events of the original Wii version of this game, in addition to Super Mario Galaxy 2 as well. So yeah, I think technically speaking, this is our, if I have to be honest, I think that might actually be our 7th time trying to deal with him. Well, technically, if you also want to count Mario and Sonic at the London 2012 Olympic Games on Dream Spacewalk Dream event, then at least I can count that. But that does take place in a different galaxy, which is inspired by, you know, Sky Station Galaxy from Super Mario Galaxy 2 and all that stuff. Alright, so we've actually got ourselves 2 Power Stars so far, so not too shabby for the most part. And of course, if you ever play the game on the American version, then basically the actual text on certain worlds or missions were actually on different colored, which I was originally trying to able to set things up as in the American version of that language, but apparently I didn't, so oh well, no big deal. Besides, it plays out exactly the same, but just with some visual changes and stuff like that. Of course, before we proceed, we need to feed this particular Luma to able to feed him about 5 star bits, and then we can able to proceed. So, and the way with the actual shooting with the cursor works this time around though, along with the forms of the pole star mechanic from the likes of the Switch version this time, is the fact that we have to able to, well, you still need to really utilize the pointer system from the likes of if you're ever trying to play the game with either the Joy-Con controllers or the Switch Pro controller, which I'll discuss on in a moment, because the next mission we're going to be hopping into is a snack of cosmic proportions. So of course, much like the original version of this Let's Play, or the original version of the game, as well as Super Mario Galaxy 2, I will promise you guys I will try to able to not only just try to speed things up a little bit, because you've seen the actual playthrough already, ever since back in 2019, but now we're going to be able to do this game again, but this time with gorgeous HD, and also trying to utilize with different controllers, as opposed to the exact same Wii Remote and Nunchuck controls from the likes of not only on the Wii, but also on the Wii U as well, for the digital download version. So because of that though, and for the most part though, the controls plays exactly the same as the forms of how it does on the original version throughout, except the biggest difference is now that you can now jump within 2 different buttons as opposed to just one. So and of course the co-op aspect still applies in here, so because of that though, nothing different from there, apart from the fact that, relatively speaking, that if your cursor is about to be messed up, specifically on this version of the game, that since that we don't need to worry about the forms of trying to set up the center bar, so because of that though, unlike the Wii version that you can just simply just center the actual, the thing itself, on the center bar. Whilst in here though, in order able to get your the actual cursor centered, basically though is the fact that you have to press the R button again until it recalibrates. So it kind of does the same thing from the likes of The Legend of Zelda Skyward Sword HD, by the way. So in this case though is the fact that you probably get the idea about that solution. So but I digress. So, for the most part though, the actual, the completion requirements for the sake of this particular game still applies to the forms of the original Wii version of the game, so I'm still about to be collecting, 121 power stars, because I say that because, well, for those of you following from my Let's Play of the Wii version of the game, like I said, back in 2019, so you expected about the fact that we're trying to go for the Mario's playthrough, and of course the Luigi's playthrough, which some people seem to be able to actually ignore, sometimes ignores Mario's playthrough, or most of the time they really want to go on to Luigi's playthrough. Well, usually most of the time, because, well, I have no idea what I'm saying for this point right about now, but, I digress, and I just somehow managed to run into that boulder like a, like an annoying experience or something like that. I know that again, I do apologize if my commentary gets a little bit snuffy and also just a little bit kind of bare bones at the same time, because like I said, it's been about 2 months ago since I actually did manage to last touch this, because, well, it's pretty obvious, for completing Super Mario Sunshine, and of course, doing Mega Man Marathon 2, which we've already completed it, so in this case though, that we've now finally managed to caught up for the classic Mega Man games up to this point. Well, apart from one exception, which appears to be by the forms of Mega Man Powered Up for the PSP, which I was expecting to do that, but I do need a method to able to actually record the game, because I don't want to get any, like, irritating background noises as far as you might as well able to notice, that ever since whenever we did done our Let's Plays of both Sonic Rivals 1 and 2, that basically though is the fact that we done it with the camera quality, which from the look of it though, is okay, but it's just that it's not the best quality either. So because of that though, I feel like I was about to be able to decide to do a redo Let's Plays of both Sonic Rivals 1 and 2 at some point, maybe next year, in 2023, because at this point in time is the fact that we're actually getting very close towards the end, well, almost anyway, towards the end of 2022, by that point in time, so because of that though, that we'll see what happens there, so anywho, so let's go ahead and launch ourselves from that launch star onto that particular glass little planet right here, so that way we can able to navigate through certain things throughout. I suppose I should probably mention about this right about now actually, is the fact that I believe, much like in Super Mario Sunshine on this compilation, basically though is the fact that you can now able to actually listen to the background music on certain cutscenes, so that's actually pretty swell, I have to say so for myself. But then again, I will point it out until whenever we get into the finale portion of this entire compilation of Super Mario 3D All-Stars. So because of that though, seriously, I'm gonna tell you for this point right about now, that this will actually be the longest playthrough that we've ever done so far. But despite the fact that, well, sometimes we take a break on certain situations for, you know, after dealing with several Let's Plays throughout. So in this case though, it's the fact that I just want to classify for something like this, so... Alright, so now we actually got 3 power stars, so this means we can able to actually access to the next galaxy, which I think I'm also save that for later. So from now on though, we'll head back on to get a good egg galaxy again, so that way we can able to do the next mission, so anyways, let's save our game. And of course, another huge difference between the Switch version and the Wii version is the fact that they no longer said do not press the reset button or eject the disc from your Wii console this time around. So I guess that's another difference between two versions throughout. So, King Cantalant's Battle Fleet. I do apologize for that mispronunciation of that K word, by the way, but that's okay because usually, much like the forms of certain other Let's Plays for that matter, that I always get confused about the forms of several spelling errors and stuff like that, so forgive me if I botched it, so... Anyway, so let's go ahead and begin with the next mission in Good Egg Galaxy. So because of that though, hopefully we'll try to deal with it from here. And try to triple jump and succeed by able to actually skip the entire portions of the beginning portion. So, but I digress. I just realized something. I didn't usually collect that much star bits though, mainly because, differently from the forms of the original Wii version of the game, for this entire Let's Play so far, I was expecting if I was trying to collect the insane amount of those star bits, but I think I'll able to decide to collect quite a few, depending on what missions I'll go to, so because of that though, I just don't feel like trying to able to max out the star bits throughout. Whilst unlike in Super Mario Galaxy 2, I have to keep on collecting those star bits because obviously with the Grand Master Galaxy you have to unlock, so something's well classified for noticing this. So yeah, like I said this before ever since about a few moments ago, in addition you can able to actually play this game as in the Joy-Con controllers, but also you can able to play this game on handheld mode for the sake of the forms of playing on the go, which I highly suggest right away, and I will, actually I'll explain more in a second, because we have ourselves, you've transformed into Rainbow Mario, so you are invincible. So because of that though, yeah, we're about to get rid of those Goombas, in addition to those two chain chomps that managed to roll around on this entire planet as soon as I get out. So, yeah, I guess that makes it pretty obvious. And grab some star bits on top of that. So, yeah, for the most part though, yeah, like I said before, in addition to trying to able to play the game on the Joy-Con controllers, like in the forms of the Wii Remote and the Nunchuck combo, like in the forms of the Wii version, but also is the fact that you can play this game on handheld mode, which I highly suggest right off the bat. I highly not recommend trying to able to play the game on handheld mode, because I'll get into more now in a moment. And also you can play this game on the Switch Pro controller as well. Despite the fact that, much like in Super Mario Odyssey though, like I said, this game really encourages you to able to actually use the Joy-Con controllers as a recommendable control type because, well, obviously motion controls are everything for certain scenarios, so... Whilst unlike, if you try to play the game on handheld mode, it is fine for the most part, except when you're trying to obtain those star bits, because in order to do that though, you have to utilize the touchscreen in order to able to just grab the stars, and then all the star bits rather, by utilizing the pointer while using the touchscreen. So, in fact, it does remind me of a little bit from the likes of the actual, a pretty weird project back in 2007, which appears to be Super Mario Galaxy DS, which is basically like the DS version of Super Mario Galaxy the original, which I remember, fondly remembered back in the day, despite it's not real or anything, because it's more likely like, I don't know, a made-up thing. But it does look pretty cool though from the gameplay standpoint, but it does not become reality at the end, so... Because obviously touchscreen controls will not work for it, so... Yeah, I just get the feeling from that, so... Ooh! Okay, nice little, darn it, I got burned by his tentacle! So yeah, we still need able to, you know, reflect the actual coconut back in him for about 6 times total, but of course we will refight against him later on, until, you know, eventually by the, towards the very end, for the most part. So there we go. That boss is pretty easy though, I'm not gonna lie, because, you know, much like in Super Mario 64 and Super Mario Sunshine, that I managed to play this game a lot, and especially noticeable, I still even remember back in the day, in 2007, I was really excited to play this game back in Christmas 2007, because that was my highly anticipated games back on the Wii old days, so because of that though, yeah, I'm very glad to play this game again, but this time on the Switch. So anyways, suffice to say for this point, I think we're gonna have to end things off at this point right here, so join me next time for more of Let's Play of Super Mario 3D All-Stars while we're playing through Super Mario Galaxy. That is the fact that we're about to be able to continue exploring through the Terrace Dome and grab some more power stars along the way. So because of that though, yeah, it should be exciting. So I'll see you guys on Monday. Later, fellas.